side, he'd attach it to the injured leg of Rich Swann, or at least what was the injured or surgically repaired leg of Rich Swann. And then he'd start to just stomp on it and just damage his leg further. And then the referee would have to call for security to come down and then remove Eric Young and then have him leave the ringside area. So then after that, also before I get into the next part of the match, I guess we're going to get the crazy side of Eric Young again, which, I mean, that's kind of what he had been doing with WWE with Sanity and everything, and that's kind of the persona I guess he's taken on in more recent years. Even when like his last year or so in Impact, that's kind of what he had. That's kind of the character he had pursued. But no matter what he's done, Eric Young's just been a great worker since the early to mid 2000s, and from there he's just been great ever since, and he's still great now. So just seeing him be able to perform the way he did in this match is really awesome to see, especially since in WWE he was just so wasted and he just like never really got to do anything. So that was great to see. But then after that, Ace Austin would come back in the ring. He'd try to take advantage of this, and then Swann would he'd counter with some roll-ups, and then like he'd just fight back, and that was really great to see. Also, just because it's like he's showing that he won't give up, and he's like the underdog or whatever, just trying to stay in the fight. And then Ace Austin would eventually hit him with the fold though, and he would eliminate him from the match. So then now it would be down to Eddie Edwards and Ace Austin, which I thought in this situation, I mean, I was actually surprised to see Eric Young get eliminated, because I actually thought at that point it was either going to be maybe him or Ace Austin that would win the world title. But so then it would come down to Eddie Edwards and Ace Austin, though, which it was two perfect guys to come down to just because of the history they had. Ace Austin, in storyline, had tried to steal his wife and had tried to just play mind games with Eddie for like months, and then eventually it come down to this. It'd be those two. They'd exchange, with some chops and some strikes. They'd fight each other a bit, and then they'd have some good sequences. Eddie would hit Ace Austin with the Boston Knee Party, and then Ace Austin would surprisingly kick out. I thought at that point that was it. Then Ace Austin he'd hit the fold on Eddie Edwards, and then he'd kick out of that as well. I guess if Ace was going to kick out of his move, then Eddie was going to kick out of Ace's move. But at that point, I was just surprised still. So at that point, I'm like, wow, is Eddie really going to win the world title? Because going into this, I did not expect Eddie Edwards to be world champion. But he would then hit Ace Austin with the Die Hard Flosion, and he cover Ace Austin and become the new Impact World Champion. So Eddie Edwards, for the second time in his career, is the Impact World Champion. So that's awesome. But before he can really even celebrate with the title, Madman Fulton would make his way down to the ring, and he would just ambush Eddie. He'd then begin to pick up Eddie Edwards, and then as he's going to have Ace, him and Ace were going to do something to him, the Good Brothers music would hit. And I'm not going to lie, I heard that music at the beginning of that video where they announced that they were coming to Impact and everything. And I'm not going to lie, I think I'm really going to like that theme song. I haven't heard the full thing, but it just sounds really good, just hearing that part. So then, I guess they referred to them as Luke Gallows, which I didn't know if they could actually still do that or not. I thought that was like maybe owned or copyrighted by WWE, but maybe they just didn't realize it at the time. But I thought that maybe they referred to him as Doc Gallows or Doc, or maybe they just referred to him as or something else. I don't know. But they'd hit, then Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson make their way down the ring. They'd at first it looked like maybe they'd align themselves with Madman Fulton and Ace Austin to take out Eddie Edwards even further. But then instead, Carl Anderson would come in, he'd hit him with the cutter, and then they'd start to fight Madman Fulton. Then Eddie would get up and he'd clothesline him out of the ring, and then the Good Brothers would pick up Ace Austin and they'd hit him with the Magic Killer, and then the three of them would all celebrate in the ring, and yeah, Eddie Edwards would be the new Impact World Champion. But that's not all. Before the show would end, we would have none other than EC3 make an appearance in a video. He wasn't actually in the show, like he didn't appear like in the building, but he did appear in a video where he had a drink and then he'd throw it at the wall. And yeah, so EC3, I guess it's official that he's going to be back with Impact Wrestling, because That was actually the guy who a lot of people had speculated was going to be the mystery guy in the main event. So, I mean, I guess it turned out fine. I mean, we got a really, really good main event. I actually went ahead and gave that one 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good. As I said, the way they got to it was kind of confusing for some and everything, but, it did work out. It was a really, really good match nonetheless, but you had the perfect people in it. And, I'm happy to see EC3 back because, once again, another guy who, in NXT, I guess he was there for a bit, nothing, really big happened, but I guess, had he had some time and maybe would have played out a bit more, maybe something would have come of it, but then he got to the main roster just way too soon. That did it for me. Out of 10, I would give this probably, I'm going to say a 7.5 out of 10. I still thought it was a pretty good show. Still, of all the pandemic wrestling shows, the pay-per-views and whatnot, you could maybe argue that this was the best one, I think, maybe. Because, there was Double or Nothing. You could maybe argue that was better. But, a lot of people I've seen say it, they like this one better. And I definitely think of all the pay-per-views so far, this is definitely one of the better ones of the year. Probably just because of the excitement and everything. And a lot of people were just really happy with it. And just Impact got a lot of buzz. And definitely is a thumbs up for me. I definitely liked it, and I definitely enjoyed it. But I'm just interested to see where they go from here. And I just hope they're able to continue the momentum they're able to build from here as well. But, yeah, that was Slammiversary 2020. That's all the time we have for that. But before we end the show, I'd like to take the time and remind you once again to follow JNC Radio on social media. Follow JNC Radio on Twitter and Instagram at JNC_radio. That is J and as in 8, capital ANDC _radio. And then follow our official Facebook page, JNC Radio. And then JNC Radio is available on all major platforms, including the ones I named earlier, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're basically on there. If not, we'll do our best to try to correct that once again. And then we'll be back with the horror show at Extreme Rules review and recap as well, so hope you guys look forward to that one. I look forward to bringing that to you guys. Then on Tuesday, we will have our bonus rewind, The Great American Bash 2008. And then we will have on Wednesday the lineup for the month of August, our third and final part of our summer lineup. So stay tuned for that as well. This is Cameron. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I hope you enjoyed Slammiversary especially. And peace out.